question I get asked a lot is, how much do AI answers change over time? Or if you're a brand, how does your position in AI recommendations fluctuate over time? And how quickly can you expect LLMs to learn about your work? Well, I want to show you a quick example in this video that I bet you haven't seen before. I've been using Trackerly AI to track AI answers for a range of topics. And one topic that I've been tracking is quite interesting. The only question that I've been asking in this prompt is, who runs the website Tracking Happiness? I've been asking this question for a little over 1.5 months. And the funny thing here is that who runs the website Tracking Happiness? Well, it's me. It's my own website. And it's a little bit of an experiment to see how well are LLMs trained on, basically on me. And so using Trackerly AI, I've been tracking all 4 major LLMs. So ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and Perplexity. And I want to see how well do these LLMs know about me as a founder of Tracking Happiness. Because if I Google who is the founder of Tracking Happiness, excuse my spelling here, then the answer is, hey, it's me, it's Hugo. I won't try to pronounce my last name in English. It's pretty much impossible. But yeah, that's me. And there are loads of websites that mention me as the founder of Tracking Happiness. There are my own websites or platforms. There's our about page, then there's a LinkedIn interview, then there's a YouTube interview, then there's this interview of me too, a Crunchbase profile which I have created myself, then there are some social pages. There's a bunch of websites that acknowledge that, yeah, it's me who founded Tracking Happiness. I can show you another tidbit here. If I exclude my own website, so I exclude trackinghappiness.com from the search results, but still return my name as, well, let's try it this way, right? And let's remove that. And so I just want to show you that I do have a bunch of other big websites stating that I am indeed the founder of Tracking Happiness. So there's Site Central, there's a news website, then there's another news website. Let's continue. There's another news website. So these are all other websites that have linked to a piece of content that I wrote, and they credited me as the founder of Tracking Happiness. So there's certainly enough information on the internet pointing to the fact that I am the founder of Tracking Happiness. But yeah, my question is, how well have LLMs been trained on this data? I've been tracking this question for the past 1.5 months, and I want to show you the results. So I have collected 126 AI answers, and I can show you a bunch here. So on the 1st of December, I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT thinks that the founder is a person named Leanna and Roderick. Well, that's not true, but let's move on. Gemini doesn't want to give an answer. They're like, well, if you want to know, just Google it. Pretty useless answer there. Then let's move on to the 5th of December. Gemini is still indifferent. They don't want to give me an answer. And what about ChatGPT? This time they say, hey, it's run by a team of researchers. But the founders, including an entrepreneur named Kees van der Velden, that's just not correct. Let's scroll down a bit. So ChatGPT on the 19th of December, who runs Tracking Happiness? Well, it's run by a team that includes co-founders. Hugo, well, that sounds like me. They got my first name right, but then they just completely ruined my last name. Alvar Henrik Elto. I've got no idea who that is, and that person doesn't exist. It's just a blatant hallucination. And there's this other guy, Joris Henneman, which is supposed to be my co-founder. Well, that's all just completely incorrect. But wait, look at that. On the 19th of December, Google Gemini is like, hey, wait, I do know the answer to this question. The founder is, it's this Hugo guy from the Netherlands. So it's pretty interesting, right? So I want to see how much do these answers fluctuate. And so let's just check out, well, who has got it right. And let's first focus on OpenAI. Well, OpenAI doesn't know the answer. But if I remove my last name and only focus on my first name, they only got it right that one time that I just showed you. But what about all these other guys that they came up with? So Arthur, what about Dan or Case? Well, Dan wasn't mentioned. I thought I saw that. What about that Joris guy? Let me type that correctly. Well, yours has been mentioned 7 times. So on multiple days, ChatGPT tries to give me the correct answer, but it's still completely wrong. These people, they don't exist. So it's just very weird that ChatGPT has been trained in some capacity, but just not enough to get my name right. Interestingly, though, I do have to point out that all the names that ChatGPT comes up with, so let me just remove all these names, all the names that they come up with are Dutch sounding. So I'm from the Netherlands. My name is Hugo. And let's just have a look here. So, well, AJ Jacobs. Well, that's quite a Dutch name. Then there's this guy, Joris de Heijse. Then there's this Kees van der Velden guy. Well, that's a perfectly reasonable Dutch name. What about this guy? Jelte Eickhout. Well, that's just the most Dutch sounding name in the world, right? And that's the funny thing, right? So ChatGPT has been trained to know that the founder of Tracking Happiness is from the Netherlands, which I am. That is correct. But my full name, they simply aren't confident enough on that part yet. Then let's have a look at Google Gemini. So according to Google Gemini, who founded Tracking Happiness? So let's have a look. On the 1st of December, the first time I asked, they don't want to give me an answer. Well, I do know that somewhere in here, they did give me the right answer. And it's right there. So on the 19th of December, they suddenly realized, like, oh wait, I do know the answer to this question. So if I go into this mention tracker and I enter my name, there's this little period of 3 days where Google Gemini suddenly remembers the correct answer, and it's like, hey, wait, I do know it. And they have the correct answer for me. But then after those 3 days, they completely forget about it again. So, that could happen to your brand. You need to realize that these LLMs, they are changing all the time. And if you get mentioned once, that doesn't mean that you will get mentioned all the other times that the same question is asked. Well, let's have a look at Claude. So Anthropic. How well does Claude remember that I am the founder of Tracking Happiness? Well, they've got it right 2 times. It's also a bit strange, right? But what about all the other times? So let's remove this filter for a sec and have a look. So what's happening here on the 6th of January? So they do have my first name correct, but they ruined my last name. So it's a weird misspelling. And I actually know the reason for this, which I want to get into in another video. And then let's finally move on to Perplexity, the 4th LLM that I've been tracking. And, well, finally we see a perfect score there. I only started tracking Perplexity on the last day of 2024. And every single time I've asked, Perplexity has known the correct answer. In fact, they have by far the best answer of any LLM that I've been tracking, so I'm quite happy with that. But I just want to show you how these results change, not only over time, but also based on which LLM you ask. If you have any questions about this, or you want to go track your own prompts over time and check the variation in LLM answers, well, you can head out to trackerly.ai. We track all 4 LLMs, and you can get started with a free 7-day trial and get your own insights straight from all these 4 LLMs today.